Okay, so I'll chant. You can repeat. Om Prapanna Parijataya Stotra Vetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Geetamritaduhe Namaha Karpanyadoshopahatasvabhavah पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाससे गतासून् अगतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पंडिताः। विहाय कामान् यः सर्वान् पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः स शान्तिमधिगच्छति। योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात्मभूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते। उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मानमवसादयेत् आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः। यो अहमात्मा गुडाकेशो सर्वभूताशयस्थितः अहमादिश्च मध्यं च भूतानाम् अन्त एव च। भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरम् सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति। ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते। तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्। अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखः सुखः क्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः हरिः ओम तत्सत्. Good. So we have been seeing the essence of the Gita, and Krishna says, "Na anushochanti panditaha." Right. So the wise man does not grieve. So how? So Gita basically gives us the way to complete freedom from all sorrow by understanding who am I, what is this world, who is God, and what is the purpose of life, etc. So we saw first what is achieved by the being a Jivan Mukta, how Krishna describes the various characteristics of a Jivan Mukta. Essentially, Jivan Mukta is free from desire, free from minus and self-centeredness, and he is full of peace. Right. So peace is the main characteristic of a Jivan Mukta, and he is free from all the negative qualities. And then what is it that prevents us from reaching there? We saw that there are three things: dependence upon the world for security, depending upon the world for pleasure, and wrong understanding of ourselves, which is solved by three yogas, which we will see in more detail today. And then we saw Panchakosha Viveka. Who am I? What are the different layers? And as an individual, we saw who am I. And then as pure consciousness, we saw who am I. And we saw who is God, God as the whole, right, as the universal being. Now, when we started, we saw that this Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Jnana Yoga are there. And then we saw the idea of Ishvara and what is Bhakti. So today we will see how Gita uniquely combines these and gives us an integrated way for spiritual sadhana. So let us start. So what is the Gita way? So for a quick, this is the shloka which we uh, took up, right? Which we this shloka is I would say is a landmark shloka in the Gita, right? Arjuna's, this comes in the 12th chapter, and the 12th chapter starts with Arjuna's question. Arjuna asks a very, very important question, a pertinent question, which even today hundreds of people keep asking, and several people have asked me also. The question is, can one be spiritual but not religious? That is a question Arjuna asks in the 12th chapter beginning, right? Arjuna asks the question, can one be spiritual but not religious? And Krishna answers that question in the 12th chapter, and the entire 12th chapter is a full explanation of Krishna's answer to that question. So, in brief, Krishna's answer is very simple. He says, yes, it is possible to be spiritual but not religious, but it is very, very, very difficult to do that. So, you better follow a religious life to prepare yourself and then you follow the spiritual life. So a religious life is not fulfilled without becoming spiritual. A religious life is not fulfilled, it is not serving its purpose without becoming spiritual. So stopping with being just with a religious life is also no point. But then being spiritual without being religious is very, very difficult. So Krishna gives a list of three prerequisites for being spiritual, and he shows that those three prerequisites can be easily developed by being religious. So be religious to develop the prerequisites to be spiritual, and then you be spiritual to reach the goal. This is the answer given by Krishna. And today we will see in brief what is that and how it is. And he says. So, in that context, Krishna says how to lead a spiritual life by being religious. How to combine religious and spiritual life. Right? That is what it is. So, to have a recap, we saw that knowledge is one which is going to make us free. Right? The true knowledge of who am I is going to make us free. And what is hiding that knowledge? What is hiding the truth? The evolutionary baggage, right? Because this system has been designed for survival and not for freedom. And so we have to overcome this evolutionary defect which is there in this body and mind to go further along the spiritual path, right? And we saw that there are three specific problems: the survival instinct called Brahma Granthi, the pleasure seeking tendency called Vishnu Granthi, and the wrong idea of limited individuality called Rudra Granthi. So these three have to be overcome, and they were useful so far, right? It is not that they are totally negative. Yes, for survival, they are needed, right? Now, our ancestors, our great grandfathers have survived and brought us to where we are because of these three, right? So, but then to go ahead in spiritual life, we need to outgrow them, right? They need to be overcome. And these three is what is called as Mahamaya, the survival instinct, pleasure seeking instinct, and a sense of individuality. These three are called Mahamaya. And with reverence to Mahamaya, showing gratitude to Mahamaya, saying, "Oh Mahamaya, thank you for all these things. It has taken me so far, but now I want to go further. So please bless me so that I overcome these three." So, with reverence, with prayer, with gratitude, we worship Mahamaya to say, "Take me from Avidya Maya to Vidya Maya." So, that is the idea here. And to do that, we saw a two-step process, just like how a plane runs on the runway to pick up sufficient speed and then it lifts off. So similarly, there is a two-step process in spiritual life. The first one is by identifying myself as the Jivatman, that is the Karna Sharira, I give up my identification with this body and mind. That is the first step. So I say, I am not this body, I am not this life principle, I am not these emotions, I am not these value systems, right? Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Buddhimaya Kosha. I am not any of these things. I am the wielder of free will. I take decisions and I am responsible for them. And as I am responsible for them, I reap the fruits of my actions. I go from birth to birth, birth to death, death to birth, birth to birth, right? So birth after birth, punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, right? I go, and the whole during the process I improve myself, right? What do we mean improve myself? I develop more punya, I develop good samskara, and I develop the right knowledge. So these three I develop over multiple births, right? Multiple lifetimes. I develop this, and each lifetime I get a body, and I draw once that I use that body, I develop this, then I drop that body, go on, keep doing this because it is not sufficient to develop these sufficiently in one lifetime. So I go over lifetimes. I have already gone and have already come through so many lifetimes developing all these things. Now, why do we need these ideas? Now, you might say, how can we believe in this? And we logically saw that if I believe in free will, I have to believe in law of karma. And if I believe in law of karma, I have to believe in rebirth. So rebirth is not a belief. Rebirth is a logical conclusion that I arrive at if I believe in free will. So now understanding this and imbibing this idea is very important, that I have free will, there is law of karma, and I go from birth to death, death to birth, birth to death, birth to death. Now, this belief in free will and is important so that I know the goal of my life. I need to develop. I have my life is in my hands, and accepting the idea of rebirth is very important because by accepting the idea of rebirth, we can easily give up our identity with this body. By accepting the idea of rebirth, we can easily get over our attachment to this body. So, the objective of accepting rebirth is to give up my attachment and identity with this body. So, once I understand this, then I know I'm not this body, I'm not this life. I've been through several bodies, I've been through several lives. So there is this body is just of no consequence. It's just incidental. I will not get attached too much to this body, and I will not get attached to all the relationships which have come because of this body. All the worldly relationships are because of this body, and all these things I will not have strong attachment if I identify myself with the Jivatman, right? So I identify myself as the Jivatma, and the only thing that matters in life is, am I developing more punya? Am I gathering more punya? Am I gathering good samskaras? Is my jealousy going down? Is my anger going down? Am I becoming more honest? Am I becoming kinder, more loving? And am I developing the right knowledge? Right? This is what I carry with me across births, and this is what matters. So, this entire project, the multi lifetime project, is to become a better person. It's as simple as that, right? Am I a better person today than I was yesterday? Right? By the time I am 30, am I a better person than I was at 20? At 40, am I a better person than I was at 30? At 50, am I a better person than I was at 40? This is what matters. When we say better person, less jealousy, less anger, less arrogance, more honesty, more loving kindness, and more self discipline. Now, so whenever you look at anyone in this world, you just have this one idea. Everyone on this planet Earth are here to become a better people, a better person. That's all. So everyone in this universe, they have just one goal, and that is to be better people, to become better day by day, year by year, right? So that is the one goal of life of everyone, just to become better people. That's it, right? Now, this is achieved by doing my duties, helping others, following self-discipline, practicing japa, puja, meditation, and then exposing to good company, satsanga, reading good books, listening to good lectures. doing introspection, doing retrospection, seeing what did I do wrong, how can I become better. So be obsessed with this one idea that I need to become a better person today than I was yesterday. This is the not only a lifelong project, it's a multi-lifetime project of every living being on this earth. The one multi-lifetime project of every living being on this earth, whether they know it or not. Even if they don't know it, nature does it unconsciously, right? They do it unconsciously, instinctively, but this is the one goal of every living being, right, on earth, and whether they know it or not. So whenever you see any living being, you always remember this. This person is here to make himself better. This person is here to make himself better. And let me see how I can help. That's it. Right. So that is the first step. And once a person has progressed sufficiently in this, becoming a better person, then God will give a guru to go to the next step and to give up even this identity with the Jivatma and identify with the pure consciousness. That is done by Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. We saw all these things. Now, this roadmap, Gita gives it very clearly. So, from world dependence for security and world dependence for pleasure, you need to go ahead. This is the two main problems when you start with. So, by karma yoga and having a service attitude, you give up this dependence upon the world for security. So, here karma yoga in a very secular way basically means as I sow, so shall I reap. Law of karma is there. So, I do good things, I do social service, I do everything, right? And how do I know I have become independent of this world? Equanimity in all situations is what I will have. This is the measuring stick, right? This is the measuring criteria to say whether I am independent of this world. So if you are dependent on this world for security, you will be tossed by the ups and downs of life very violently. Whether now, if you are independent of this world for security, you will have equanimity in all situations. Sarvatra samabuddhi, right? Gita, 12th chapter, 4th shloka defines this. Sarvatra samabuddhi as the definition or characteristics of a person who has achieved independence from this world for security. Then the second one is independence of the world for pleasure. So this independence is achieved by meditation, dhyana yoga, and also compassion to living beings. So by dhyana yoga, we break this dependence of this world for pleasure, right? Meditation itself gives a lot of pleasure. You can literally you can generate your own dopamine in your brain by doing meditation, and that is why meditation is also sometimes addictive, right? So dhyana yoga is a technique by which we establish our independence from this world for pleasure. I don't depend on this world for pleasure. I am independent of that. That is attained by dhyana yoga. And how do I know I have become independent of this world for pleasure? I will have control of the mind and senses. Sanniyam yendriya gramam. Right? So if I have control over the mind and senses, then that is an indication that I no longer depend upon this world for pleasure. Now, when a person has sufficiently attained these two, such a person is called yoga ruda, right? We saw 6th chapter, 4th shloka defines who is a yoga ruda. Yada hi na indriyarteshu na karmashu anusvajyate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudastadochyate. A person who does not depend upon the karmendriyas or jnanendriyas for his satisfaction, and he does not have any worldly agenda, right? Sarva sankalpa sannyasi. Such a person is called a yoga ruda. And that yoga ruda state is the prerequisite for Jnana Yoga. And when such a person gets into Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, he will attain the Jnana of the identification with the pure consciousness, and he will attain independence. Now, to attain this Yoga Rudha state, you have to assume that I am a Jivatma, I have free will, and I will develop Punya, Samskara, and Jnana, and you have to work on this. And in Jnana Yoga, we'll have to give up that identity as the Jivatma to identify ourselves with pure consciousness. Now, this is the template. This is what is the a secular approach to attain, to go for the uh, final destination of a Jivan Mukta. Now, when Arjuna asks the question, can I be secular, right? Can I be spiritual but not religious? Yes. Krishna says, yes, there is this roadmap which is there. This roadmap has been described in the 12th chapter, 3rd and 4th shlokas. Now, yes, it is possible, but these prerequisites are there. Sanniyam Yendriya Gramam, Sarvatra Samabuddhi, Sarvabhuta Hite Rataha. Three prerequisites Krishna gives. If you have these three prerequisites, then Jnana Yoga will work. Okay. But this then in the fifth shloka, he says, but it is very, very difficult. Klesho Dikatarastesham. Right? He says very difficult for people who have got strong body identity. It is very difficult. So now let us like take 1 minute to understand what do you mean by a non-religious spiritual path. A non-religious spiritual path is what is popularly called as Buddhism, right? The whole entire Buddhism is based on a non-religious spiritual path, right? Not the Tibetan Buddhism, which has got a lot of religious aspects into it, the pure, the Theravada kind of Buddhism. Okay. So here, the Karma Yoga, you do social service, you, sweep the ashram, you help people, you also do your duty, everything. You accept law of karma, and you say law of karma is there, so I should do this, and you do that based on law of karma, do the service, and then you do meditation, and this is all secular meditation, right? Counting the breath, following your breath, watching your breath, mindfulness meditation, compassion meditation, all these things are there, and using these, right, you develop this, become a yoga rudha, and with that you can become eligible for jnana yoga, and after that you get exposed to the knowledge and you become independence. Buddhism, it's called nirvana, right? So this path is there, it is a valid path, we don't deny it. We say yes, you can be spiritual but not religious. There is a roadmap given in the Gita, but Krishna says it is very difficult, it is almost impossible, and there is a easier way to do that. Now that is where we come to the Gita way. How do we combine karma yoga and dhyana yoga with bhakti, right? Combine it with bhakti, and that will be a much easier way to proceed. So this is what is given in the 6th and 7th shlokas of the Gita, which we saw. Etu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavamina chirat partha maya veshita chetasam. What does he say? He says, from to become independent of the world, so for security, you shift from world dependence for security to God dependence for security. You say, the Lord is there, this entire universe is run by the Lord, and we saw, right? Bhoktaram Yagnitapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Nyatva Mam Shantim Richati. So that shloka is the core, right? So that is the definition of personal God. So you understand that God is there, and God is the one who is running this world. Everything in this universe happens by the will of the Lord. So offer all actions to God. Yetu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya mat paraha. Matparaha means with the Lord as the goal, offer all actions to God. So when you say Sarvani Karmani, right, it means all actions. All actions means whether you are brushing your teeth, whether you are eating food, or whether you are helping your family, whether you are doing your job in your office, or helping someone on the road, or doing some social service, or sitting and doing puja, meditation, right? You are doing some this thing, Ashtotra Namavali, you are doing some Kunkumarchana, or you are giving Abhisheka to a Lord. Every action, all actions offer to God, right? Sarvani karmani, mayi sanyasya, offer them to me. Now, offer all actions to the Lord, and that will free you from dependence upon this world for security. You say, the Lord is the one who gives me security. I don't depend upon this world. So depend upon the world, on God for security, and not upon the world. Then, to free yourself from depending upon the world for pleasure, you meditate upon the Lord. Ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. Right? So you meditate upon the Lord in the center of your heart, and that will free you from dependence upon this world for pleasure. You depend upon the Lord for pleasure. So if you want pleasure, what do? Close your eyes, think of the Lord in the center of your heart, and chant his name. That pleasure is much, much higher than any pleasure that you can get in this world. Okay? Atindriyam. So, in the sixth chapter, Krishna describes what is this pleasure that you get out of meditation. He says, Buddhi grahyam atindriyam. Right? It's a very, very tangible pleasure which can be experienced in the mind, but atindriyam, it does not depend on any sense organs. This buddhi grahyam atindriyam, that buddhi grahyam atindriya sukham, you will get by meditating upon the Lord, and by holding on to the pleasure that is got out of meditation upon the Lord, you can easily give up the dependence upon this world for pleasure. Right? So this is the dhyana yoga along with bhakti. Right? Do Nama Sankirtana, do Manasa Puja. So there are various techniques for meditating upon the Lord, and by that you will get tremendous pleasure within, and with that pleasure, holding on to that pleasure, you can easily give up dependence upon the world for pleasure. So it is by the Lord's will that everything happens in this universe. So depend upon the Lord for security, and give up depending upon this world for security. Meditate upon the Lord, and get the pleasure out of that meditation on the Lord, and give up the dependence on this world for pleasure. So once you have done these two, what happens? You become a yoga ruda. Now, after that, in the secular way of doing it, after becoming a yoga ruda, what do? You need to go and study the scriptures, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, and all that. But now here, Krishna gives a concession. If you follow this approach, then he says, the third step, I will take care of it for you. Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavamina chirat partha. The Lord will save you. So you do step 1 and step 2, and the Lord will do the step 3 for you. Right? Now, this also the Lord describes in the 10th chapter also. He says, like, if you meditate upon the Lord in the center of your heart, then the knowledge will shine forth from within. He uses those words. He says, the Lord will teach you, right? The Lord will teach you the knowledge, and it will be very easily you can get the knowledge. Now, how does it work? It's very simple. When you accept the Lord as the Vishwarupa Ishvara, right? So you transition from three like Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara model to just Ishvara and you, right? So basically, there are only two entities, you and the Lord, no one else. Now, switching from that to this is easy. So you basically, it's a very graded approach. So it becomes easier. It will naturally, you will mature to the next level. So, Mayi Aveshita Chetasam. This is the core of this whole thing. The mind which is soaked in the Lord. That if you are able to develop by these two, then the Lord will take care of the rest. Now, how does it work? Because there are three stages. We already saw this before. Because you go along this three-stage approach, it becomes very easy. So instead of directly in a secular way, in a secular approach, you directly try to become a jnani, where you say, like, I am pure consciousness, there is nothing else. You directly try to jump here. Whereas in a religious spiritual approach, when you mix it along with bhakti, you go step by step, and this graded approach becomes very easy and smooth. Okay, so this is a very easy approach, and this is what Gita recommends. So you so there are three stages: Artha and Artharthi, first stage; Jignasu, second stage; Jnani, third stage. Right? And in this stage, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara are separate. We already saw this before, so I'm just going through it faster. Right? And when you consider the Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara as separate, right? I am different, this world is different, God is different. Then what do? You work in this world and you offer the fruits of action to the Lord in gratitude. Right? Ishvara Prasada Buddhi is there. He is the Karma Phala Data. I do the work for this world, I work in this world, but he is the Karma Phala Data. Right? I work in my company, but the salary comes from him. That is why I offer, the a part of it to the Lord in the temple. Even though my salary I get from the office, right? I offer the out of gratitude, I offer to the Lord in the temple, because I know that He is the ultimate karma phala data. Data ek ram bhikari sari dunya. Right. So I offer. So He is the. This is called prasada buddhi, and I worship the Lord when life will give me ups and downs. So when there are afflictions in life, I go and cry to the Lord. And when I want some desirable things, I go and ask the Lord. And the Lord is happy with this. Right? It is like a child, the parent-child kind of relationship, right? Throughout. Now, Jignasu, right? Where I understand that it is the Lord who has become this world. The world is a manifestation of Ishvara. So Jagat and Ishvara are merged, and only Jiva and Ishvara are there. Only two entities. Here there were three things. Here there are two things only. And now, knowing that the world is a manifestation of the Lord, my doing work itself is an offering to the Lord only. Right? Work is worship. That is what I understand here. And I worship the Lord to give knowledge and strength to face the ups and downs of life. Life will still have ups and downs, right? But then I don't pray to the Lord to free me from these ups and downs of life, but I pray to the Lord to give me the knowledge and strength to face all these ups and downs in life. This is the Jignasu state. The third state is where I understand that there is only Ishvara. I completely surrender myself to Ishvara. Prapatti. Prapatti is a part of this Jnani state, right? That I accept that only the Lord exists, nothing else exists, and there is no free will. Even through me, it is the Lord Himself who works. So I offer the doership of work. I offer free will as offering to the Lord, right? Complete surrender. And I worship the Lord without expecting anything. Life will have still ups and downs that will carry on, but I don't care anymore. It is all Leela of the Lord. Now, these are the three stages of spiritual progress. By following this, combining with bhakti, right? Karma yoga and dhyana yoga combined with bhakti, we will naturally go through these stages. Now, one question thing here, just because a person has reached the jnani state doesn't mean he will not fall back to any of these two stages. He will fall back, no problem, but predominantly he will spend time in the jnani state. A person who is a jijnasa state, like he will be predominantly spending time in jijnasa state. Occasionally he will fall back also. Like even in the life of Sri Ram Krishna and Holy Mother, we can see that, Sri Ram Krishna promises to offer coconut, right, to the Lord, and offer sugar candy to the Lord if, like Keshav Chandra Sen, when he was sick, Sri Ram Krishna said, like, I promised to the Lord that I will offer sugar candy if Keshav becomes well, right? And even Holy Mother's life also we can see, like, right, she worships Simhavahini, and she says, okay, if this happens, then I will come and offer this. Yes, it is fine, it is not wrong, right? But predominantly they will be in the higher stages. So it is okay to come down, go up, but never go below this, right? Never go below this. So that is why Krishna says all these three are good, right? They are all Sukritinaha, right? They all Sukritinaha, all these three. But then Jnani is the highest, yeah, right? So these are all this in the 7th chapter, right? 7th chapter, there are a few shlokas where these are discussed. Now, so the Gita's way is Etu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. Right? So he who offers all actions to me, having me as the goal, he who worships me and meditates on me with single-minded yoga, tesham aham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavamina chirat partha maya veshita chetasam. So mayi aveshita chetasam. To those who have their minds fixed on me, I very soon become their savior from the ocean of from mortal samsara. He says, I become the savior. So this word, Mayi Aveshita Chetasam, that is the key. So, to the entire Gita, what does Krishna want us to become? Right? Mayi Aveshita Chetasam. So, we saw one more key word in the 2nd chapter, 11th shloka, Na Anushochanti Panditaha. Right? That is what is the goal. Now, this quarter shloka, this is the way. Mayi Aveshita Chetasam. Right? This word is another key word in the Gita. Right? What does Gita want us to do? Like, just like a rasagulla. If you see a rasagulla, a good spongy rasagulla, fully soaked in the syrup. So just as how a rasagulla is fully soaked in the syrup, we should have our mind, chetas, mayi, with the Lord, aveshita, fully soaked. Right? A mind fully soaked by the Lord in and through. Mayi aveshita chetasam. So this is the goal, or this is the way, right? Mayi aveshita chetasam is the way. How to get Mayi aveshita chetasam? The first two one. Yetu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. Okay. So the goal is, or the intermediate goal you can say, is to completely soak the mind in the Lord. And the way to do that is do karma yoga as an offering to the Lord and do meditation on the Lord. These two, karma yoga and dhyana yoga, these two are the ways to get to this state of a mind completely soaked in the Lord. If you have that, then the Lord says, I will take care of you. You don't need to worry beyond that. Okay. So this is the idea. Okay. So now the goal has become how to become Mayi Aveshita Chetasam. How to develop this mind soaked in the idea of God. So this becomes the rest of the series. We will do it in detail, right? So, knowledge check. Can one be spiritual but not religious? Yes. Krishna says yes, but it is difficult. What is Karma Yoga? When taken along with Bhakti, offer all actions to the Lord, right? Sarvani Karmani Mayi Sanyasya. What is Dhyana Yoga when taken along with Bhakti? Meditate upon the Lord, right? What is the advantage of spiritual sadhana with Bhakti? It is easy. It is full of rasa, right? It's very interesting. And also the Lord says, do just karma yoga with bhakti and dhyana yoga with bhakti, and the jnana part I will take care of it for you, Krishna says. Right? That is the promise of Lord to the devotees. Right? He says, Teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. That is the promise. Right? Fine. So this is the, in brief, right, the path of the Gita. Okay. So we will go ahead with the Karma Yoga, right? We will start with Karma Yoga. So before we go there, any quick questions we can take. So this is the basic idea. Any questions? I will unmute. Sorry, I have to. I forgot. Oh, okay. Already Avik has unmuted. Yeah. Anyone has any questions?
Gokul,
Yes, Anuradhaji. Yeah.
morning.
Morning.
Namaste. Uh, you were talking about offering all actions, whether they are relevant or irrelevant to, something. I'm just saying,
Ha, ha,
whether
ha.
any kind of action,
Hmm.
uh, making that spiritual, right? So, what exactly does that mean? You just kind of
Hmm.
you pray before that?
Yeah, understood. So, uh, Chinmayananji was asked the same question. Okay, so he gave a very, very interesting answer. He says, uh, suppose there is a bachelor. Now, the bachelor has got a job and he is working. And so, if his manager asks him, so what do you do with your money? He'll say, like, sir, weekends, I go to movie, I spend, I do this, I do that. And then, like, the bachelor, he works, he's not very sincere with his work. Then the manager calls him, see, you should work more, you should work more sincerely, otherwise you will not get promotion, you will not get good hike. This guy says, like, sir, it's okay, sir, like, I'm taking life lightly, sir. Whatever salary I'm getting, it's fine, I'm saving enough, and I'm okay. So it's very difficult to make him work. Now, the same guy, suppose he gets married, and he has a wife, and he has, after a couple of years, he has some children going to school. Now, if you, the same guy, if the manager asks him, what do you do in the weekend? Sir, I help the family buy grocery, take my wife, my children to movies, to some outing, and the entire weekend goes with the family, for the family. Now, suppose if that guy is not working that well, if the manager tells him, see, work properly, otherwise only then you will get hike, only then you will get good promotions, or you might even lose your job if you don't work properly. Now this guy will say, sir, 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 please, sir, please, sir, I have got a family to support, sir, I will work properly, sir. Right? Now, if you, what changed? Right? In Tamil we call it as kaal kattu. Right? Now his hands and legs are tied because of this family. Right?
Right.
Whatever he does for his family.
Mm.
Even he does job in the office, right? On his desk, he has the picture of his wife and his children, right?
Yeah.
And even on his cell phone, the background screen will be his wife, his children, right? Even in the
Mm.
car dashboard, picture of his wife and children. In his purse also, he will have his wife and children's picture. So everything his life is now dedicated for his family,
Mm.
right? Now, the same attitude have towards the Lord. Whatever you do it for him, right? Priyatam Pundari Kakshah Sarva Yagneshwaro Harihi Tasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtam Prinite Prinitam Jagat. Right? That's what we
Mm.
chant.
Mm.
Right? Whatever I do is for his Priti. So that is why a religious person, a spiritual person, if you see, or any of our devotees, if you see, right?
Mm.
Like in front of their desktop, they will have the picture of Sri Ram Krishna, Holy Mother. On their computer desktop, whether it's laptop desktop, whether it is their purse, right? Car dashboard, everywhere you'll have the picture of Sri Ram Krishna, Holy Mother, Swamiji. Because everything you do it for them, right? That
Mm.
is what it means.
Okay.
Understood? So
Yes.
this is a beautiful example given by Chinmayananji. Just as how a worldly married man does everything for his family, similarly, a spiritual person does everything for the sake of the Lord.
Okay.
So how
Thank
to
you.
do that? Put the picture of the Lord everywhere. Your desktop, your purse, your car, on the walls in your house, everywhere, whichever direction you turn, you should see only the picture of the Lord. And keep chanting the name of the Lord constantly. The moment you wake up, the moment you know you are awake, even before opening your eyes, you start chanting. If you have a Guru Mantra, you chant your Guru Mantra. If you don't have Guru Mantra, chant Maha Mantra. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Even before opening your eyes, the moment you know you are awake, chant. Start chanting. Before you get out of your bed, start chanting. And while brushing your teeth, while doing everything, chant, 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 chant. Keep on chanting the name of the Lord. So that way you can remember the Lord as much as possible. Before eating anything, you offer to the Lord before eating. Right? Before going to sleep, keep chanting, 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 and go to sleep chanting only. So this way you can become Mayi Aveshita Chetasam. The goal is to become Mayi Aveshita Chetasam, right? Completely soaked in the thought of God. If you do that, the Lord says, Teshamaham Samudharta Mrityu Samsara Sagara. He says, I will take care of it, don't worry. That is the Gita way. Clear?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. So we will go ahead and share again. Karma Yoga. Okay. So we will take this shloka to understand Karma Yoga. And so in the 12th chapter, if you see the template of the 12th chapter, so we saw in the last slide up the 6th and 7th shlokas. And then from the Mayi Aveshita Chetasam, that word was introduced in the 7th shloka. And then uh, we see that Karma Yoga and Dhyana Yoga are the two parts. And from the 8th shloka till the 12th shloka, Krishna describes Dhyana Yoga, meditation. Right? Meditation is described in the 8th to 12th shlokas in the 12th chapter. And then from 13th shloka onwards, he describes Karma Yoga, where he says how a person, how a devotee along who follows Karma Yoga with devotion, how does he behave, how does he live his life. So the whole description is there. And as usual, the first shloka is the summary of the entire rest of it. Right? Like, so the 13th to 20th shlokas in the 12th chapter, right? It is called Amrita Ashtakam, right? The 8 shlokas which are about Karma Yoga, how to live in this world. And this shloka is a summary of the rest of it. But before going to this, let us build up some concepts of Karma Yoga. We need to understand what is Karma Yoga thoroughly. So let us consider this. Let us consider a story. Now there is a farm. Now in that farm, there were a lot of animals. So the sheep was telling, one day the animals all had a discussion, and the sheep was telling, I give wool to the master, right? We all know, no? Baba, black sheep, one for the master, one for the dame, one for the little boy, right? Fine. So the sheep said, I give wool to the master, and like with that wool, the master makes clothes, he makes blankets, it keeps him warm, and so the master is very happy. He feeds me, he takes care of me, he protects me from other animals. The sheep was saying. Then the cock, when it heard this, the cock said, yes, 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 I am also serving the master. I wake him up every day at the right time, and I take care of the chicken. So the master likes me. Then the chicken said, yes, yes, I also do a lot of work. I give eggs for the master, and with that eggs, they get all the protein and they lead healthy. I help the master, and the master takes care of me. I love my master. And the cow said, yes, yes, what all you are saying is right. Our master is very good. I give milk to the master, and with that milk, the entire master's family is very, very healthy. And the master loves me. He gives me nice, juicy grass to eat. Then the horse was said, yes, I help the master to plow the field. I help the master to draw the cart to take the produce to the market. And I also carry him. He rides me when he wants to go alone. So I help the master, and he takes care of me. He feeds me. He protects me. You know, so when the goat listened to all these things, the goat laughed and said, you guys are all fools. Look at me. I don't work hard. I don't give anything. I just keep playing, jumping around all through the day. You are all fools. Like, look at me. You should enjoy life. Life is for enjoying. Kao pio maja karo yaar. Why are you just sweating it out like this? Don't take life so seriously. Don't work so hard. Life is for enjoying. Look at me. I am just enjoying life. And the master feeds me. He takes care of me. See, everything will happen even if you don't work. Don't work so hard. This is what the goat said. The other animals were wondering, is it really so? In fact, they were confused. The goat's speech was so convincing that even the animals were wondering, should we also stop working? Is it right? Then that weekend, the master's daughter's wedding was there. There was a big feast. A lot of guests had come. And the next day, the animals found that the goat was missing. The goat was missing. And we all can guess what happened to the goat. The goat became biryani. So, if you are being fed and clothed for free, that is a very dangerous situation. Okay? All these left liberals, they will tell, no, no, don't work hard, take life easy, life is for enjoyment. You know, that is the Charvaka argument. That is the left liberal argument these days, right? They'll say, take care of yourself, right? You know, there is so much of self-centered, bohemian, hedonistic kind of arguments which are being put forth, and basically they are all bakras. Okay, whenever anyone put forth this kind of argument, remember this, and they're all bakras. They are going to be chopped. That's what all it means. Nature is smarter than you, so nothing comes for free. you have to give. Okay. If you don't give willingly, it will be forced out of you and you'll be made the bakra. So work hard, right? Contribute to nature, and nature has a balance. Nature is smarter than you, and no account is missed. Nature keeps perfect account. Okay. So be very, very careful. Ensure that you give more than what you take. Now, that is what leads to the second illustration. So I'll give you a minute to think about this so that, so remember this, right? So this is the fundamental concept. Okay. Nature has a balance. Now, when you go to buy a car or a bike, what questions will you ask? What are the features, right? The salesperson will, he will explain to you, it has this feature, sir, that feature, sir, le lijiye, sir, right? And the question you ask will be, kitna deta hai, right? How much does it give? What is the mileage, right? The most important aspect of a car or a bike when you want to buy, the biggest consideration for you is kitna deta hai. So what do you mean by that? Efficiency is output by input. So a vehicle which gives maximum output for minimum input, right? Less petrol or diesel and maximum mileage, right? That is what we need. So now you ask yourself the question, kitna deta hu or kitna deti hu, right? What is your mileage, right? Are you taking more than you are giving, or are you giving more than you are taking, right? In Tamil, there's a very nice word for a person who takes more than he gives. Tandachoru, we call. A person who is just eating for waste. He's even feeding him is a waste. Okay. You can as well dump that food straight into the commode instead of passing through that person. That is called a tandachoru, right? So, are you living as a burden on this earth, or are you contributing to this world, right? Is your contribution more than your consumption? So Karma Yoga says life is measured by your output, not by what you have accumulated, right? Suppose, let us say you are preparing a resume, you are preparing a CV. Now, what will you put in your CV? Can you put into your CV, I have got 5 lakhs in my bank account, I have got stocks worth of this many lakhs, I have got a property worth this much. Last year, I went on an European tour. Will that work to put on your resume? No, right? Whatever you have accumulated, whatever you have spent, what you have enjoyed as entertainment, all those things will not go into your resume, because life is measured by your capability, your output, not by what you have accumulated. You will say, I have got this degree, I have done this certification course, I have worked in this company and I have contributed to all these projects. I am a volunteer in Ramakrishna Mat and I have worked on all these social service activities, right? So you put in your resume what you have delivered in life, what you have output, or what is your capability to deliver. I have done this course, I have done this certification, so I'm capable of doing this much work. So life is measured by your output, not by what you have consumed or what you have accumulated, right? So your mileage, right? This is what now often people ask, right? So basically, this is another aspect of karma yoga, right? Focus on your output and not on your input. So, in summary, there are two ways to live. Okay, you can live life as a beggar, or you can live life as a king or a queen. Right now, if you look at that beggar in the traffic signal, when he looks at each person, all that he sees is, can I get some money from this guy? Will this guy give me 10 rupees, or will he give me 20, or will he just say no change? What will I get from this person? What will I get from that person? What can I get from this person? Right? Everywhere he looks at us, what is in it for me? What is in it for me? Right? So there is so basically, like, a beggar is one who always keeps looking at what is in it for me, what is in it for me. My money is in his pocket, how can I get it out? you know Grab, grab, grab. And that is a very beggarly attitude, right? And the other attitude is, how can I help? Everywhere you look upon people, how can I help this person? How can I help this person? May I help you? Right? You are focusing on giving, giving, giving. Now, these are the two attitudes in life, right? One is, you always think, how can I help this person? What can I give this person? How can I make life better for this person? How can I add value in this situation? And the other one is, what is in it for me? What is in it for me? Right? Even if you go to a function, you can see, right? There will be, once the function is over, then the function is over and the lunch starts. Now there will be some people who will immediately, like, they'll just rush and go and stand. There'll be queue for lunch. If I don't go fast, then I will have to stand in the queue, run, run, run. Whereas there'll be other people who will see, oh, all these chairs are spread out. The volunteers will have to put this chair away. So let me give them a hand, and they will start helping the chair, arranging the chairs and putting back the chairs along with the volunteers. Right? He's like, yeah, lunch is there, it will come. I don't. So they are more focused on giving than grabbing. Right? So your entire attitude in life should be on giving than grabbing, right? So the difference is just in the expectations, right? And there's a very beautiful concept, right? Like, you use objects and you serve people, not the other way around. So you take it as a, think about it, right? Think about this. A lot of people, serve objects and use people, right? They will take so much care about their car, but to one a beggar woman who comes asking for money, they will not give, right? They are more interested in serving their objects, and but then using people, right? That is not the way to be. Use objects, serve people, right? So how do you want to live? Do you want to live as a king, or you want to live as a beggar? Right? This option you have. Right? Now, with these three illustrations, let us get into what Gita talks about. This is a very beautiful shloka in the third chapter. Yajna shishta shinas santo muchyante sarva kilbishaihi bunjante te tvagam papa ye pachantyatma karana. So, noble people who consume food that is got after contributing to the world, they are freed from all sins. They who only cook and eat for themselves eat only sin. Right? So basically, and even the previous shloka to that, it says, those who consume without contributing are thieves, it says. Right? So basically, earn your food, earn your living, earn your livelihood, work hard in this world, contribute to the world, right? And basically, like, deserve the food on your plate. That is the basic idea here, right? Serve this world, work in this world, and ensure that you deserve the food, that you have it in front of you on your plate. If you deserve the food that you eat, that food will free you from sins. If you don't deserve the food that you eat, you are eating only sin. Right? Very, very strong idea. Right? So ensure that the food that you eat is prasada. What do you mean by prasada? This whole universe is Ishvara, and all your action are contributions to this entire universe as Ishvara. And the food you get on your plate is Ishvara prasada, as the yajna shishta, right? Is what you get. The Lord is giving you this food as prasada for the work you have done in this universe, right? As an offering to Him, right? So whatever work you do, do it as an offering to the Lord in the form of this universe. Then the food that is on your plate is His prasada, yajna shishta, and that food will free you from all sins. This is the idea of karma yoga, right? This is karma yoga. Whatever you consume, it should be a prasada, right? You offer your work to this universe, to the Lord, and you basically deserve the food that you eat. And by extension, the food you eat, the place you live, the clothes you wear, the entertainment that you get, everything should be prasada for you. You should deserve it, right? So, what are the principles of Karma Yoga? The universe operates based on a natural law of karma, we saw, right? Every decision has its consequences. As you sow, so shall you reap. You alone are the maker of your destiny, and there is no extraneous factor. Everything that happens in your life is because of your own past actions. Okay? What you did in the past decides what you get now, and what you do now decides what you will get in the future. You get only what you deserve. Nothing is lost. So don't worry, relax, right? Don't worry, don't be anxious. Work on what life brings you. Whatever situation, whether you are a student, whether you are an employer, whether you are an employee, whether you are a social worker, or you work in your family, you are a son, you are a daughter, you are a mother, you are a father, you are a husband, you are a wife, whatever situation that life puts you in, you work, work, work. Do whatever is justified, whatever is needed in that situation, you work, and don't worry about what comes back. Nature will take care of that. There is a balance in nature. You don't need to worry about what comes back. You only need to worry about, have you done your duty? Have you given more than what you have got? That is what is Karma Yoga. Give, give, give. Right? If you contribute to the welfare of the world and serve living beings, you will be taken care of in the long run. Right? Krishna says in the Gita, 9th chapter, Ananyas chintayanto mam yejanaf paryupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Right? Ananyas chintayanto mam. Not considering this world as different from the Lord. Right? That Lord and the world are not different. They are not anya. Right? So, ananya, without considering this world as different from the Lord, considering this world as the same as the Lord, ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate. Those people who serve the world, who serve this, all the living beings in this world, right? Who serve the living beings as service to God, and who are so much, they serve the living beings in this world that they don't even take care of their own well-being, right? They are so much interested in doing service to this world that they don't even take care of their own well-being. Those people, the Lord says, I will take care of their welfare, right? Ananyas chintayanto mam yejanah paryupasate teshamaham, sorry, yogakshemam vahamyaham, right? So he says, to them, I will take care of them. I will take care of their yoga and kshema, right? Whatever they need, I will give it, and whatever they have, I will protect, right? So there is one beautiful Tamil proverb, Ooran pillai ootti valarthal, tan pillai tana valarum, right? So if you take care of the orphans, your children will grow by themselves, right? If you take care of the underprivileged children, then your children will be taken care of by the Lord. That is what it says. Fine. So, and in doing all this work, what is the whole objective of this work? One is, of course, you are serving the welfare of this world. The other one is to improve yourself, right? The goal is to improve yourself in this process. Character building and gaining wisdom are the goals, right? So you work, so then that is you will get punya, and character building, that is samskara, and gaining wisdom, jnana, right? These three we keep repeatedly, we'll keep seeing, right? Punya, samskara, jnana. Punya, samskara, jnana. Building up these three is the whole purpose, right? So you do karma yoga, serve this world, and in that process you will have character building happening, you will have wisdom developing, right? And another important thing is karma yoga is very, very important for spiritual development, because the key to open your mind for higher perspectives and possibilities is in the hands of nature or Mahamaya. And unless you have cleared your debts, this higher possibilities will not be unlocked for you, right? Your mind will not develop detachment and understanding unless you have repaid what you have taken, right? So we are under heavy debt. We have taken so much, and from this world, unless we have given back, Mahamaya will not open up our minds for higher possibilities. So now the question is, okay, what have we taken? What have we taken? A lot of people say, I am a self-made person, right? And you know, so in fact, when Swami Vivekananda, when he was young, one day out of a fit of anger or like dissatisfaction, he asked his father, what have you done to me? What have you given me? His father said, go and look at the mirror. Okay. So where basically, like, you know, a lot of people say, I am a self-made man. Now, in response to that, we have this idea of Pancha Maha Yajna. We all are indebted in 5 ways to this universe. What are they? First is we owe to nature, right? We drink water, the Panchabhutas, right? Breathe air. Even to stand, we need earth, right? So the nature, the whole nature around us, right? We owe to that. And how do we pay back? By conserving nature, right? Take Don't waste electricity, don't waste water, right? Don't pollute the surroundings, plant trees, right? Take care of nature, sustainability, conservation, right? Conservation of species, conservation of nature, right? uh, Not polluting, all these things, that is called Deva Yajna, right? Be grateful to nature, and you give back to nature by all these ways. That is called Deva Yajna. Second, we owe to other living beings, right? Milk, wool, right? Honey. Then some person might say, no, I'm vegan, right? Even if you are vegan, to pollinate your food, you need living beings. Unless the bees and insects pollinate the rice and wheat, we will not get food. So even if you are a vegan, still you live on other living beings, other animals and birds. You know, they are all needed for even to get the food that we eat. So, like, we depend on other living beings for so many things, right? Including pets. And that is called Bhuta Runa. We are indebted to other living beings, and we have to give back in terms of take care of living beings, right? Like in the summer, like keep a bowl of water for thirsty birds. Birds will come and have it, right? And squirrels will come and drink, like, right, in the hot summer. And take care of other living beings, right? Donate to goshalas, right? And treat animals kindly, right? Be kind to animals. So, and also, like, you know, you can donate to the forest conservation activities, right? Natural national parks. So basically, the Bhuta Yajna, right? Giving back to living beings, right? Then Manusha Yajna, we owe to other human beings. Like we depend on other human beings for so many things. Like even if you take just the cloth that you are wearing, right? Some human being planted a seed of cotton and grew that cotton into a plant and then harvested that cotton, and then someone else took it to the market, someone else beat it and carded it and then made it into fiber, someone else spun it into yarn threads, someone weaved it into cloth, someone dyed it into colors, someone stitched it, someone brought it to the store, someone sold it, right? Someone built that store, some salesperson, accountant people, you know so many people, right, are involved in just the small piece of cloth that we are wearing. Similarly food, similarly the place where we are living, the transportation, everything, like millions and millions of human beings are involved in every goods and service that we are taking. We have to be thankful to them, we have to give back to them by first is paying properly for the goods and services that we are taking, right? Don't take things for free, right? Pay for every goods and service that we are taking, and also treat other human beings with kindness, right? Be kind to human beings. Don't try to exploit the kirana wala or the sabji wali, right? Don't try to get you know advantage of them, right? And serve people, help people, right? And be kind to people, and also donate in the times of calamities, right? Serve, volunteer, right, in social service organizations, all these things. That is all called Manushya Yajna. Then comes Pitru Yajna, to our ancestors. We owe our biological inheritance to our father, grandfather, great grandfather, great great grandfather, to all our previous generations. So we are all indebted to that, and we have to pay back for our biological inheritance. How do we pay back? By having children, good children, providing good children to the society, by having good grandchildren, taking care of our parents, taking care of our grandparents, taking care of children, taking care of grandchildren, and taking care of cousins, right? The best way to make our grandfather happy is to take care of our underprivileged cousins, and the best way to make our great grandfather happy is to take care of our underprivileged second cousins who are also grandchildren, right? You share a common ancestry. Just putting their photo and putting a mala and then offering some food, that is there, but then they will be more happy if you take care of their other grandchildren, right? Who are, like, say, if there is your second cousin who is unfortunately poor and who is finding difficulty in paying the school fees or college fees for their children, like, go and help them out, like pay the college fees of your underprivileged second cousins and cousins. That is the way you can make your grandfather and great grandfather happy. That is called Pitru Yajna, right? And there are some people who don't have these kind of relationships, right? So you can serve them orphanages, old age homes, right? Donate to them, serve them, right? So Pitru Yajna is uh, done by all these things, right? The Pitru Runa is cleared by this. And the last one is Rishi Runa. Rishi Runa is to our culture, to our teachers, right? We are different from animals because of the culture, right? So to our teachers, science, arts, humanities, right? Music, dance, language, so much of culture we inherited, right? This inheritance is called the Rishi Runa. Just like the biological inheritance is Pitru Runa, the cultural inheritance is Rishi Runa. And this Rishi Runa we have to give back by First is pay for the education. Don't buy pirated copies of books. Don't watch pirated movies. That all comes under Rishiruna, right? Pay for the book you buy, pay for the movie you watch, right? And because that way, by watching good movies, by paying for good books, you are encouraging the authors. By giving the royalty, or encouraging them to take good movies, more good movies, right? And to write better books. And also, if you have the school, the primary school where you studied, if it is not having enough funds now, go and do some social service there, donate some money to that, right? Build a lab for the dilapidated primary school where you studied, right? Donate for all you alumni. Your old students can get together, and then you can renovate some buildings in your old school, right? Or the retired teachers, you can help their children's education, your primary school teachers, right? And you also, whatever you have studied, you pass down to the next generation, right? You take tuition for some children, right? Run tuition centers for underprivileged children, teach them, right? And whatever you are studying now, go and teach again, right? So all these things come under Rishi Yajna, right? Basically, these five are called Pancha Maha Yajnas, right? So we are indebted to this world for what we are in these five ways, and giving back in these five ways is called Pancha Maha Yajna, and this is an integral part of Karma Yoga, and this is called as Yajna in the Gita. Yajna means giving back what you owe. That is called Yajna. And when you give back more than what you have taken, then that is called as dana, right? When you contribute more than what you consume, that is called dana. And Gita, this 17th chapter, 20th shloka, gives a very beautiful definition for dana. Datavyam iti yad danam diyate anupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha tad danam satvikam smritam. So datavyam, you give as a duty. I have to give. Giving is my duty. Datavyam iti yad danam. That dana which has been given like that. Diyate anupakarine, to people who cannot pay back. Anupakarine, without expecting anything in return. See, to whatever you have already taken, if you give, that is called yajna. To what you have not taken, if you give, that is called dana. That is the difference between yajna and dana. Yajna is giving back what you already owe, and dana is giving beyond what you owe, right? That is called dana, right? There is a difference between yajna and dana. So anupakarine, and how do you give? Deshe kalecha patrecha, right? At the to the deserving person, at the right time, at the right place, at the most needy time, when that person needs most, right? At the, they say, no, a friend in need is a friend indeed, right? So you give at the when needed, right? At the place when it is where it is needed, to the most needy person you give. Now you don't need to break your head too much about patra. Lot of people come and say, should we give to this person? Should we give to that person? How do we know this person will use it properly? Like, if you are still worried about the usage of the money, it means mentally you are not still given, right? If you have really given, you would not bother about how that money is being used, right? If you are still worried about how that money will get used, it means still you're just physically given, but mentally you're not given. That is why you're still worried about how that money will be used. Give means give. That's it, right? So the Lord take care of how it is used, right? Let law of karma is there, that will take care. So datavyam iti yad danam diyate anupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha tad danam, that danam satvikam is the highest, right? So Gita talks about yajna dana, then tapas we will see in the next class tomorrow. So before, it's already time, so before we stop, any questions we can discuss.
Google Madhu, this
Yeah.
is Vishwadosh. I
Yes.
had this question.
Hmm.
My interpretation of what you said is like if we don't do this Pancha Maha Yagna, let's
Hmm.
say I'm a householder,
Hmm.
then the virtue of like having the detachment
Hmm.
will not happen.
Yeah.
The Devi will not provide me that power to detach
Yes.
until I do this, right?
Yes.
Uh, so
See, you have to pay back, right? You have to pay back. Nature is smart. Nature will not let you go free unless you have paid back.
okay,
And the,
so
and the way nature binds you is by giving you attachment.
okay. So normally, let's say, for the process of knowing that that I don't, I mean, to increase the detachment, normally one is advised to think of death and those processes, or do bhakti and all kind of those things. So, howsoever I do those, if
Hmm.
I don't do this Pancha Mahayagna, that's
Ah,
not going to finally materialize into
yeah.
detachment.
Nothing will work unless you pay back.
Okay. And here
Right?
another
Hmm.
question.
Hmm.
It might sound very silly. Let's
Hmm.
say if I am getting a service from somebody,
Hmm.
let's say I order food on Swiggy
Hmm.
or Zomato, the food comes to me.
Hmm.
Now there would be many processes behind it. I mean, there would be a
Yes.
farmer at the last end. The
Yes.
farmer would come to some market,
Hmm.
and this whole chain is there. But
Hmm.
finally, at the end of the day,
Hmm.
all these services, whatever has happened beyond my knowledge,
Hmm.
I have paid it back to Zomato.
Yes.
Then why should I be concerned about feeling gratitude towards farmers, or because I'm anyway paying back through my
Huh.
money?
See, you pay back. Paying back is like, yes, you are paying back, and you pay so that that amount will trickle down to everyone, right? Now, thing is, the attitude of gratitude is important because that is the prasada buddhi, right? When you say gratitude, means what? That is Ishvara prasada buddhi, right? You are not you should not become arrogant, right? Oh, I am paying for this, so I deserve this. I am paying for this, so this is mine. Now, that arrogance will not take you ahead in spiritual life, right? So you should have this idea that even if I'm going to pay for it, unless there is the grace of the Lord, I will not get this, right? So I'll tell you. So you are getting it at the right place at the right time. So I'll give you an example. So now, let us say, for example, you are casually you are driving on the to somewhere, and by mistake you didn't notice, and you jumped signal, and the police caught you. They stopped you, and then they said, okay, where is your license, where is your insurance, where is your emission? And then you say, oh, okay, emission is expired, and then you stay there, you wait there, you pay back, and then like you are willing to pay, right? Even if you are willing to pay whatever amount, it is the grace of the policeman whether to let you go soon or not. Okay. So, and so let us say you pay, and then finally you are let go, and then you go. Now, after the whole process took 15 minutes or half an hour. Now, after you go, then you recollect. Suppose the same thing happened when I was in a hurry to go to catch a train. What will happen? Suppose you are in a hurry, and your train is there. You are here to catch a train, and at that time, like by mistake you jump the signal, and at that time the police catches, and then they ask for this, they ask for that. Now you would have missed your train. So the idea is, yes, law of karma, you have to face, you have to pay for whatever you have done, but then, right, the timing is very, very important. There are times when you don't want to get caught in the wrong side of the law of karma, and there are times when you can afford to get caught by the law of karma, and then you can do whatever is needed, and you can manage. So now, when law of karma catches you, whether at the right time or the wrong time, that is the grace of God. right? Understood? If your karma, if your prarabdha is to get caught and get detained by the police, checking all these things for half an hour. Now, whether you get detained when you have enough time, or whether you get detained when you are in a hurry to catch a train, now that is where the grace of God comes, right? If you have the grace of God, then you will be made to suffer your prarabdha, but less at a more convenient way, with less inconvenience. Whereas without the grace of the Lord, you have to face the same prarabdha, but at a wrong time, where it will be, with the price will be higher. Now, this is what you need. This is what is called as the attitude of gratitude. Yes, you pay for it, and just because you pay for it, you get the food. Fine, like that doesn't mean you can be arrogant. There are so many people on this earth who can pay for it, but who cannot digest the food, right? The person has got all the money to buy the entire sweet shop, but he cannot eat one sweet because he has got diabetes, right? Now, what do you say about that, right? So you cannot be arrogant. Just because you pay for it, just because you can pay for it, doesn't mean that you can be arrogant. You still have to be, you should have gratitude that you are getting it, right? Understand?
Right, right. Okay, fine, good. And on the Rishi Jnana,
Yeah.
let's say, whatever learnings that
Hmm.
I am getting, let's say out of this lecture, for example,
Hmm.
or by myself attending some other sessions.
Hmm. Hmm.
So one of my duties would be to share it, right? Let's say even
Yes.
forwarding to different WhatsApp groups also is kind of meeting
Yes.
this, uh, doing this Rishi uh,
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what, like, my teacher, when we attended class, then we asked him, we want to give some Guru Dakshana. And he was a wandering monk, and he doesn't have any fixed place. And when we asked for Guru Dakshana, he asked for 3 Guru Dakshana. Okay, he said, you do 3 things. Number 1, whichever temple near your house, you go and donate in that temple, right? Support that temple. Number 2, whatever you have learned, you follow it. That is the second Guru Dakshana. The third Guru Dakshana is whatever you have learned, you propagate it, right? So, actually I would say the biggest Guru Dakshana is to follow what you have learned. The Rishi Yajna, the Rishi Runa, right? After learning, if you don't follow it, then you get a Rishi Runa, right? So biggest Rishi Yajna is to follow what you have learned. Then, of course, propagate it, pass it on to others, right? And support similar activities. Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. So, Vidya, ma'am, you had a question?
I am Vidya Shankar.
Yes, Vidya. Yeah.
Good morning,
Yes,
sir.
Vidya.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Again, the last one that you told that
Hmm.
once you give dana, you must forget the thing that
Hmm.
what the other person to whom I have given is
Hmm.
what he is doing with it. Now,
Hmm.
problem is if I come to know that if he has misused it
Hmm.
or say he has used it for other purposes, then it
Hmm.
is intended.
Hmm.
Now, is it not a kind of sin on me? Does it not? I do not.
Ah,
Do I not accrue a sin by
yes.
doing
So,
that?
I'll tell you. As long as you are worried about how the money is spent, that sin will come to you. If you don't worry about how the money is spent, then that sin will not come to you. If you give and forget, then you will not get the sin. But if you give, but then if you are worrying about did this person use it correctly or not, then if he uses it wrongly, the sin will come to you. Because if you give and forget, you are considering this entire universe as Ishvara. You are
Okay.
giving not to an individual, you are giving to Ishvara.
Hmm.
Now, how that person uses it is up to his karma. That is not your problem.
Okay.
But if you are so particular about, okay, like this person I'm giving, how is he using it, and you are interested in it, then you are, if he uses it wrongly, then that sin will come to you, because you are
Okay.
still holding ownership, right? You are,
Hmm.
so as long as you hold ownership, the sin will come to you. If you don't hold ownership, the sin will not come to you.
Okay. Then
Hmm.
one this thing. Say
Hmm.
next time the same person or some other kind of him comes and asks, I can say
Hmm.
no.
Yeah, that is all up to you.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Right. Right.
Good. Any other questions from anyone? Okay, good. So we'll stop here and we'll continue the next class. We'll chant Om Shanti and start. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Rama Krishnarpanamastu.